foodies, we're going to whisper because Jay's in a business meeting. I just turned on the Sauté function to my Instant Pot. This is another super quick Instant Pot recipe. I'm going to be making a green split pea lentil soup. I copied off of California Pizza Kitchen. Used to love this soup, made it all the time when I wasn't a whole food and plant-based lifestyle person. And now I've kind of converted it to that. So substitutions are your friend with whole foods and plant-based. Make sure that if you have a family recipe or a recipe that you wish you could make, you can make it. Just substitute the stuff in it so that it's healthy for you for your whole foods and plant-based lifestyle. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I had a bag of kale, and I had about a third of a bag of kale. And you know those big, giant, woody stems? I'm not going to throw them away. I'm going to use them. I'm going to process them in my little processor. My big processor has been with me for 33 years, and it finally got a crack on the bottom. It's a Cuisinart, and I'm desperately looking for a replacement bowl, and I think I might not be able to find one, and I might have to purchase a new one. But in the meantime, I'm using my little one. This is a little loud. I hope it doesn't bother his meeting. Okay, so all the things that I'm going to put in here, I'm going to saute, and I'm going to saute them with two things: water, and I'm going to use my Plant Strong veggie broth. I'm going to use this entire container of veggie broth for my green split pea soup. And it's really only 3 ingredients: green split peas, barley, and carrots. But I add stuff to it to make it more nutritious. So those are my original 3 ingredients along with veggie broth, and I would put them in a pot and I would just cook that, and that would be it. Well, now I'm going to add a little bit of water so that we can saute some of the things that we're going to put in here. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is, I didn't know if between my processor and my chopper, I really prefer that my carrots be chopped up. So I think I'm going to go ahead and dump this in here, and then I'm going to chop my carrots with my little chopper. And I'm just going to do it in small batches if I have to, because I like it to be almost shaved or shredded. I like my carrots to be almost shaved or shredded. So I'm going to go ahead and chop them so that they're almost like a shaved feeling. This one is more cubing it, and I don't want my cubed carrots in there. So let's see how this goes. I'm trying not to make noise, and somehow I ended up with the recipe that most noise makes. All right, so that's what you're looking for. I'm also going to add other things that I found in my fridge. And you don't have to saute it. If you're in a hurry, you could just dump everything in your Instant Pot, set it and forget it, almost like a crock pot. You can also do it in the crock pot. But because I had these other items to give it nutrition, I'm going to. So I have an asparagus, and I have some Brussels sprouts. Jay doesn't love Brussels sprouts, so let's not tell him that it's going in here. So he only likes them raw. But sometimes I sneak them into food, and he doesn't even know they're there. So, you know, it's like I just play stupid. It's not that I keep it from him, but what did I do with the lid? It's not that I keep it from him, but it's not going to hurt him. And if he likes it, he's not going to know. And for those of you that don't like kale, if you mince it like this, or you mince the Brussels sprouts along with carrots, you can make yourself a coleslaw. And look at this beautiful coleslaw. I could take some of this off to the side and make myself a little coleslaw with some dried cranberries. Make sure they don't have sugar or oil in them. They do add sugar and oil to fruits. Can you believe that? So, but you could make yourself a coleslaw. For those people that don't like kale, if you mince it and keep it minced along with mint, you take kale and you mince it with mint. Oh my God, it's delicious. All right, so I hope you guys can hear me whispering. If not, I'm gonna have to voice over this. All right, so I'm gonna saute this, and then I'm actually gonna take what I chopped with my hand. This handy little chopper is great for doing salads and stuff, or doing veggie bowls. I have a hard time opening it. But the problem is, I'll show you what it looks like. I don't want big pieces. I want shredded pieces. So that's why I put it in my chopper. I want the soup to be creamy, not chunky. So it is going to have a tiny chunky factor to it, but not a lot. So that's why I'm using my little chopper instead of the other one. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips. Like at the end, if you want to really pack this soup with protein, you can do that by adding things like silken tofu. You can use a soft silken tofu. Make sure it says the word silken, like right there. This is a New brand. So you can buy the soft or the firm or the extra firm, or you can use the extra firm, but if it's softer, it's going to just incorporate into your soup and have it be creamy. So that's a way at the end. Once your soup is made, you can add some of it in there and adjust your spices, and it's going to be super creamy and delicious, but it's also going to add protein. So I'm going to add soon minced shallots that are dried. You can also use onion. So I have minced onion. If you don't have the shallots, just use onion. So I'm going to be liberal with my spices. You guys know that I tell you to be super liberal with the spices. Why? Because they don't have any salt. So you have nothing to worry about. Herbs just make things taste better. Sometimes I use a quarter of the jar. This is just a salt-free seasoning with like a mixture of 14 different herbs. Just make sure it's not flavor profile to one thing. Like if I was using an Italian seasoning herb, then it's going to taste Italian, and that's not going to work. So I'm going to use like a garlic blend, or just a blend of spices that aren't like a particular flavor. Like I wouldn't want a Mexican blend for this soup. If I was using, cumin and cayenne and spicy things. Although Jay loves to put a little bit of chili oil at the end of, not oil, obviously, because we don't use oil, but he takes his cayennes and the serranos. We used to do chili oil when we would go to Chinese restaurants and such, and he would always even ask them for extras and bring it home. So now that we don't use oil, he takes his serranos and his jalapenos from the yard and he chops them up, mixes them with vinegar. You can even mix them with one of the California balsamic vinegars and make your own oil. So the California balsamic vinegars are very creamy and they're very maple syrupy. So you could add your own oomph to them and make your own oil by adding a bunch of chopped cilantro and chopped parsley and the chopped peppers, and you could even cook it up, and that can be like a chimichurri or an oil. So that's another way to use the California balsamics. So he loves putting some heat at the end on this soup. Okay, this saute function is like hot. So I'm going to put some water. I guess that's why they call it saute. All right. And now I'm going to add some onion powder. The two that you saw me add, because I know I didn't mention the other one, and you guys are going to say, wait, what's the other one? It's just another table blend that has a bunch of spices. Now I'm adding some garlic powder and powdered onion. And then I'm going to add this whole thing of dried parsley. Why? Because I don't have any regular parsley or cilantro. For some reason, we went to the store the other day and I forgot all my herbs. I got kale and I got cabbage and I got Brussels sprouts and I got all the things, but I did not get herbs, fresh herbs. So I'm using all my dried herbs. So this looks and smells delicious. So I'm going to show you that I'm a no measure girl. So now I'm going to put a scoop of Superfood, And this is just a superfood. And it is chia, hemp hearts, and flax. I keep this so that Jay doesn't have to bring 3 bags out every time he makes his oatmeal. He can just go in here and make his oatmeal. But now I've started using it so that I can like pump up our recipes. So I'm going to put 2 scoops of the super seeds in here because, as I told you, there's the power 5. I like to call them the power 5. I don't know if anybody else does, but I call them the power 5. So if I can sneak them into a recipe and make the recipe taste good, I'm going to put them in there because it's going to add nutrition, but more importantly, it's going to satiate you. So you're going to feel full. I don't like the word full, but it is going to make you feel satiated longer, and it's going to make you feel almost like the GLP-1 that everybody keeps talking about. That it gets rid of the food noise. It is true, but you can do it with food, and I don't think a lot of people realize that you can do it with food. So the Power 5 do that for me. The Power 5 are chia seeds, chia powder, hemp hearts, flax meal, and nutritional yeast. And that reminds me, I'm getting my nutritional yeast. I forgot. I changed it to this because we use so much of it. I used to keep it in the cupboard, but now we keep it by the stove because it reminds me to add it to things. So I'm going to do 2 hefty scoops. I got these great little scoopers at IKEA. And then whenever I buy protein powders, I take the plastic things and save them and use them to scoop my stuff. My Power 5. I have them in every bag so I can just conveniently go in there and grab it. So there's my nooch. That's going to add flavor to our soup. I'm going to add more water because I can hear it sticking at the bottom, and I don't want it to stick to the bottom of my Instant Pot. Okay, I'm going to try and show you guys, if I don't burn myself, how much I put in here. And by the way, I'm missing my 6-quart Instant Pot because in Panama they didn't have the 3-quart. This is the 3-quart, and it feels so little now, although it's perfectly fine for 2 people. So we don't need anything bigger, but I am missing it. All right, I'm going to show you how much I put in here. So it's just kind of eyeballing it. It's almost halfway up of veggies. All right, so now I'm going to take my split peas, and I only have half a bag, and I'm going to put the whole thing in. So what happened was I was trying to see what I had available in my pantry, because when we came back from Panama, I wanted to do a lot of food prepping so we can just go into the fridge and grab and go and do grab and go lunches and just 5-minute lunches or 10-minute dinners, 5-minute dinners. So I don't like to be in the kitchen. As much as I love to cook, I just want it to be quick. Even if it's gourmet, I want it to be quick. So now so by food prepping and not meal prepping every night, food prepping, you are going to save yourself being in the kitchen because you're going to reach into your fridge and it's going to take you 10 minutes to grab the things that are already in there and prepared to make this meal. So you'll see how quickly this soup comes together, and then the Instant Pot does the rest of the work. All right, so now I've got some quick cooking barley, and normally I put like 1/4 of a cup in here. But what I'm going to do is, since I'm now measuring, I'm going to eyeball it. I'm really good actually at eyeballing how much. All right. So that is about 1/3 of a cup, 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of the barley. And now the piece de resistance. My sister's probably laughing at my French, but here's the Plan Strong veggie broth. I'm going to use all of it. It's a great way, if you don't have your own veggie broth, get the Plant Strong products. They're fantastic. Rip and the Plant Strong team makes it a point to make sure that they're the best on the market for all the combinations of sodium and saturated fat and all of that. Are some of them perfect? No. But are they close to perfect? Yes. So I love my Plant Strong products. as something to go to for when I'm cooking. So we're going to be using the vegetable broth here. And then I'm going to complement it by adding some water. And because I want to make sure that my Instant Pot, since I kind of overcalculated a little and I'm eyeballing that I put too much in here, I'm going to take some out into my plate just to make sure that it doesn't go over the max mark, and then I cause like an Instant Pot disaster, which would not be good because I'm the queen of making disasters when Jay's in like in important meetings. Like the other day, I almost burnt the house down by letting the paper in the air fryer burn. So there I was putting out a fire while he's in one of his meetings, trying not to let him know what was happening. So I'm not going to be doing that with the Instant Pot, because the other day when I was cooking on the Instant Pot, it started oozing liquid out because I had put too much liquid in. So I am going to ensure that I don't do that today. So I can even save that for later, or I can make 2 batches of it since I have the smaller Instant Pot. So I'm going to put water into it just below the max mark. Every Instant Pot bowl has a max mark. Please beware of that and respect it. All right. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit more flavor, because you guys know that the more flavor without sodium, you will not ruin your food. And then at the end, you're going to be able to put that chili sauce that you're going to make if you like it spicy, or you're going to be able to put a California balsamic, or you're then going to be able to sprinkle it with a little bit of something. All right. But we want it herbaceous and spicy. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. I don't think so. And you know, nooch has salt. So if I want to, I can add 1 more scoop of nooch, because nooch has natural sodium in it. So 3. So you guys know that I always have to go back and look at my videos to see what I actually did that I showed you guys to write the recipe, because this is not a recipe that I had written down. I just wing it, and that is what I want you to know, that you can wing it to your flavors. Like if you want this spicy, go ahead and throw the jalapeno in chopped up, or the chili, or whatever you want. So here we go. That is it. And now I need to find my Instant Pot lid. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. So here's my Instant Pot lid. I'm going to make sure, I'm doing this backwards, so don't laugh at me. I do know how the Instant Pot works. All right, but I am doing this backwards. There we go. Okay, so I want to make sure that it's on seal. It's telling me to lock it, and now I'm going to hit cancel, because we had been doing the saute function. So now I'm going to do high pressure, and because split peas and lentils and things like that cook so quickly, especially red lentils and green split peas, I'm going to go ahead and maybe just do 2 minutes, because I do want a creamy soup, but I don't want it to be completely broken up, and you can go as low as 0. My sister taught me that the Instant Pot has a 0 setting. Who knew? But I love doing my red lentils and even lentils on the 0 setting. But I have other items in here, like the Brussels sprouts and the carrots and everything. So you know what? Maybe I'm going to reduce it to 1. And the other thing that I learned from my sister is that if it didn't cook enough, you open the lid when it's done. You taste it, and if you need a little bit more, you put the lid on and do another 0 function or a 1-minute function. So it's better to undercook it a little than overcook it and end up with mush, especially when you're doing things like oatmeal or groats or farro. So I was cooking all of those this week. So I think that is it. I'm just going to wait for my soup to be done, but you guys saw how easy it is. Now it's going to do the rest of the work, and I just wish that somebody was here to help me with the dishes, because I do have a mess and I don't want to make noise while he's in his meeting. All right, foodies, hope you're having a happy day.